Hi, I'm Steve Schumm, Director of Education at the Restoration Technical Institute with a tip for your success. During our applied structure drying training, we take students over to our flood house, and as we go over there, we teach them that all water from our dehumidifier should be drained into a bottle. We'd like to actually be able to see that our dehumidifiers are working, but then we monitor daily, so we'd like to see how much water is in the bottle. Typically, this is the bottle that everybody uses. They can be purchased from your local water supply store, but then what we also did with that is that we would actually have the students measure how much water is actually going into the bottle each day. And at the end of each day, all these bottles are drained so you can start new every day. One thing, when we stick like a yardstick down there, we can measure how much water is actually in there. And I found these buckets at our local big box store, and if you look at it, it actually has graduations on it where it is in liters and in gallons. So you can actually measure how much water is actually being put into your bucket each day. What was really cool about it too is I also found a new lid for it. If you're ever trying to take these lids off of the typical bucket, they're very hard to do, and so but there's a new lid that you can actually apply to it that actually snaps onto it, and then there's a screw type lid that you actually screw onto it, and that's what I actually have on here. We drilled a hole in here so we can actually get the hose from our dehumidifier to come into here, and then but if you know that water seeks its own level, that you might end up getting more than 5 gallons in your bucket each day. So we also put an adapter on here, so once the water got up here, it would actually cross over to that. And we put red food coloring in here so you can actually see the water in there, but it's really nice that because of the translucent type bucket, you can read how much water has been deposited in each day. We also teach the students to use an overflow tub in case that there's any possibility that you're gaining more than 10 gallons of water. This is a 27-gallon tub. I actually put a cutout there so you could actually see it. Each bucket is actually placed in there each day. I also encourage you, these things get dragged around a lot, that whenever you're using it, look up into the sky, and if you see any light, make sure you don't use that because basically the tub is useless. Now I'm going to demonstrate what happens here when the dehumidifier starts pumping into the top of the bucket. And once the water reaches its own level, you'll see it right over here. It's going to start crossing over, so you can actually utilize this tub. If you get, this is probably about 4.5 gallons here, and so what will happen, if you get more than 4.5 gallons each day, it'll also deposit it right into this bucket. So you'll see me actually go and take this right in here. The water start flowing. Now I can actually see the water starting to flow with the red food coloring in there. So the second it got up to the top of this line here where we have our fitting in here, it's just regular plastic tubing that you can get at your local box store. Now you can see it's flowing over there pretty good. And it will start filling up to this point. Then what will happen at the end of when you go back to the next day to monitor, you literally can just pick both buckets up, unscrew the lid, and quickly discharge the water into your sanitary sewer. Very neat. Remember that water weighs 8.34 pounds per gallon. So when you start thinking about this, if this thing all filled up, you do want to empty it each day because you'd have over 200 pounds worth of water weight just right here. Take this tip for your success. I hope that you have a chance to actually try this. It's very cool. And I'll see you next time here at the Restoration Technical Institute. Have a great day.